Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. Hope everyone has had or is going to have a great day today. Make beautiful gains. I just had a glorious leg day, my last leg day before my deload. Next week I won't be training. I have stuff to do in my personal life that is going to, whatever, that takes precedence. So yeah, I lasted 6 weeks though. It's just in time, to be honest with you. I'm starting to get that exhaustion, that all too familiar level of fatigue that one reaches when you're about to like completely fall apart. Music's not hitting the same. No motivation really. I try to hype myself up, but I just can't. I just pushed through it. You know, I got 2 more workouts. Got my pull and my push, and that'll be it. Yeah. So, but today, speaking about working out and bodybuilding and all that stuff, I kind of wanted to focus in on that today because and really try to get to the bottom of why some of us choose this path when it comes, as a life-saving choice. You know, a lot of us put that choice up on a pedestal as this monumental moment in our lives, a moment when our free will, when we finally were able to make a correct decision. You know, and that's a very interesting point in itself because, you know, as Nietzsche has been talking, well, Nietzsche wrote in The Dawn of Day, in the sections that I've been reading, is we're never fully aware of what instincts lead us to conduct these actions, you know what I'm saying? And that's obviously a whole lot of psychology, and there's Freud, and, you know, there's childhood traumas, you know, that's a rabbit hole that we're not going to get into. We're just going to remain within the context of Mr. Nietzsche himself, just to not go out into the abyss. But I just started, you know, focusing on, you know, the fact that why did I truly join the gym? Because the need to gain confidence is not a motive in itself. That is a confluence of different drives, different emotions, different needs, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a thing in itself. That's a culmination, in my opinion. And what is those factors, those subconscious factors that we're never really aware of, that we always look at things from a superficial level. We never really gaze down into our decision making, why we make these decisions, what motivates us to make these decisions, because it's not like according to Plato House, like, you know, having the right knowledge, like knowing what the right thing is causes you to do the right thing. It's never that's never the case. It's mostly the opposite. Like, our decisions are much more complicated than that. And so I just started questioning, you know, why did I join the gym? You know, a man that was engaged in self-destructive behavior was able to make this decision while it didn't solve any of my problems. I was still an alcoholic. I was still going berserk. It still did start to put me on the path. It started putting an idea in my head of, you know, if I just put my head down and I just concentrate and I just work, things can happen, you know. I just had no confidence in myself. So, but why, you know, like how do you lead to that moment, considering that all these other decisions that you've been making have been terrible decisions, but yet you make this decision that from a hindsight, you know, has proven to be a fortuitous one, you know, a decision in your favor. And I feel like, I mean, it's obviously a plethora of issues, you know, and I started realizing that I was really personifying, in a perverted sense, what Nietzsche considers to be the martyr, the saint, the man who, you know, finds pleasure in inflicting power and pain over oneself. And I feel like that was me. I feel like a lot of us, become frustrated because we have these emotions and we're told that we can't exercise them. We get frustrated because we're constantly being told that we have to castrate ourselves in order to function in society. And when we start to realize these truths about society, it leads us to a point of, it leads us to a very critical point. It leads us to a place where we feel that we're not wanted. And we have this whole issue of young men and stuff like that that's going on with the whole red pill and shit like that. So, but I feel like it is true in a way. Like if we have these drives to constantly exercise power, constantly exercise pain, and in a perverted sense, we do that to ourselves when we engage in self-destructive activity. When we internalize that anger and that pain and that fury upon ourselves, since that's the only avenue we have. And obviously it's some other issues as well, but the gym and working out, what it allowed was to really find vindication in using those same emotions. That's what morality is about, right? Morality is kind of giving you, it's kind of a filtration or a commentary on drives and instincts that you don't want to admit or you don't even notice that are there. An instinct of self-preservation, an instinct to thrive, an instinct to be better than everyone, to be the chosen ones, to be at the top of a hierarchy. We don't like to admit it. We just like to say these moral, altruistic things. Like that's the language that we have to filter everything through and find justification for and find our rights and duties within that ideology, as Nietzsche likes to say. He doesn't say ideology, but you know what that means. But I feel like a lot of us go to train, at least for me now, and I'm starting to realize, was to kind of to prove myself, like, that if I exercise power in a positive sense, this is what can happen. I'm saying, instead of internalizing and being frustrated with oneself and bitching and complaining, I was really a sufferer beyond belief. It's kind of pitiful to look at from back. Look back on it. How I'm glad that I've grown quite a bit on this shit now that I'm reflecting. Now that I'm reflecting, it's been quite a transformation. It's surprising that I didn't find religion, and I feel like that made it worse, right? Being an utter nihilist, an utter fatalist, a cynic, and really harnessing all of that bad energy upon oneself. But the gym really does offer a lot of observances that are related to fundamental truths, I guess. I don't even know if you could say that, but about the world. And that's really the whole point of suffering, and the whole point of building oneself, and the whole point of pushing oneself, and being able to actually see the results of that. I feel like it's an added bonus. We are born in an era where we have no patience whatsoever, and that's why most people who join the gym quit, right? Quite rapidly. They give it like a good 6 months, they don't get their dream body, and they're like, what's the point? But I'm glad I was able to stick with it, and it really was able to instill discipline in a man that really didn't have any, really. I was lost, completely slave to my impulses. It was wild. And what the training was able to do while working out, and now that I do follow progressive overload, is having a plan in place, being more disciplined, prioritizing stuff, prioritizing things that are more beneficial for me. And I feel like a lot of us do that. I feel like we don't expect that sort of stuff. We don't really think about it when we enter it. I feel like, but you start learning about these values quite, to yourself, and it's things that you have to accept if you want to continue to progress. So and obviously you can just translate it onto your lives. But it's been quite a ride training and working out. Now I've been at it for like 5 years now. Yeah, 5 years. It's been a ride. It's been quite a ride, and I'm gonna continue to think about it. Like, why? You know, I feel like also a lot of it, like I was really a loner. I was about to forget about this, but I was really, you know, I always felt like kind of a loner. And I feel like now I'm looking back and I'm like, did I also join this to kind of vindicate my isolation? You know, that would make sense. You know, like instead of feeling terrible for being alone, actually getting results by being alone. You know, training, focusing on oneself, completely immersing in oneself, and getting positive results out of it. You know, that's another way to think about it as well. It is going to be a vain pursuit, but it's also going to be a pursuit to exercise power, and finally in a good way, and learn some lessons along the way if you're willing enough to learn them, and willing enough to analyze them, and willing enough to follow them. You can learn quite a bit. You know, I sound like a wannabe philosopher gym rat, but it really is the truth. You know, you learn a lot about yourself working out. That's of course if you take it seriously. You know, some people train like bitches, and you know, what are you gonna do? Some people like to train like bitches. But it's taught me quite a bit. It's taught me a lot of values for being a man. You know, to continue going through the pain, to live in discomfort, to look for discomfort and find pleasure in discomfort, to really immerse yourself in the suffering that is our reality, as Nietzsche will agree with. Hopefully I got to get some readings, continue reading some more today. I have my CompTIA A+ certification exam, like at the 1101, so Core 1, coming up Friday. So I'm gonna have work off beginning tomorrow. I'm just gonna like I was gonna do DoorDash just to get a little side money, but this test is absolutely critical. So these next couple days is gonna be entirely focused on studying for that exam and making sure that I know everything and I'm aware of everything, right? I think that'll be all for right now. I'm going to continue to think about this stuff, and you know, it's very interesting. The way that Nietzsche's writings rattle your brain, and the way it inspires you to think about stuff in a very different way is astounding. Very much credit to him. Yeah, he's awesome. Well, I hope y'all make amazing gains if you haven't already. Ooh, my apologies. Hope y'all make gains. Unless it's a rest day, then rest up. But love y'all, and until next time, peace.